afternoon, good morning, good evening. Darn it, that camera is set way too close. How did I not notice that? Maybe it's just too high. Maybe it's just too. That's fine. Gosh, I look fat. Blue makes me look fat. Whatever. How you guys doing today? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be, wherever you are in this big, beautiful planet we call. Look at this neck. You know, it's weird. I've had this, like, I don't know if it's my brother has like a really like tight chin like that, but it's muscles. It's muscles down here because I spent my whole life doing this, making these muscles very short or weak, and so I've got friends. Never mind. It's just weird when I'm looking at it from this angle. It's like, oh, makes me look like I have a dull chin. It annoys me how good of a shave you have. Well, most of this nothing grows. And then I just have like goatee hair and then a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit down here. But other than that, boy, I really want to zoom out. Guys. Vanity, vanity. All is vanity. I just want to look good for my wife. I don't care what you guys think. If I could look good for my wife, that makes happy family. Big. I know I have a huge skull. I've got a great big noggin. Everybody knows that my noggin is too large for my body. Then go blonde. I don't think she'd care for that. Today on Welcome to Cross Examinations Live. Today on Cross Examination, Death Wish. Death Wish. What on earth is he talking about? Let me say hi to a few people. Hello, Fuzzy Creature. Was in mailbox, sitting in car right now. Oh, Shark Book. Sorry, I couldn't really see that. Another thing, my vision is not what it used to be. Hello, Fuzzy Creature. Alan Walker, Epic Trilogy, Captain Hiltz, and Model 316. I got another email. If you get a second set of Shark Books, please send them back. I will pay for the shipping. I don't know how it happened, but labels printed twice or something. They have the exact same. The post office shipped with the same. I didn't pay for shipping twice. The labels just somehow printed twice. And so because I had the labels, I was shipping them out. And so I'm getting a bunch of people telling me they got 2 sets of books. I have a limited number of those labels. I'm out of the labels. So if you're getting 2 of those books and they both have labels in them, you're taking a labeled book from somebody who otherwise could have one, because I cannot otherwise send anybody else labeled books. Labels as in signed by Steve Alton. So if you would be so kind as to send them back, P.O. Box address is fine. This isn't like just me sending you an extra copy of a 56-page comic book. This is sending you 3 books and a signature by Steve Alton. So can Alton do any more? Well, that's the thing, man. Alton's got Parkinson's disease. So just getting him to do the ones that he did, it was an ask. It was an offer, but that's something, it's like, hey, your physical ailment is keeping you from doing this thing. How about you do it for me anyways? Do me some more, because somehow I ended up printing doubles of a bunch of labels. No. So if you have them, please do send them back. Feel guilty. I mean, I can't force anybody to. And if you don't admit, why do you like ink water? Max drinks my ink water. It can't be good for him. Although it's just carbon, so it can't really be bad for him, right?
that was a lot.
I don't know. It's weird. Parkinson's and writing is crazy difficult. Well, I imagine he uses like Jeff Earls has carpal tunnel syndrome, which is why he sent me a stamp to have people stamp or to stamp the books with his signature, because he's got carpal tunnel, so he couldn't sign 1,000 things or anything. Show Kitty. Max, come here. Max, come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. Everybody, look. Come here. Look right here. Come on. Max, come here. Come on. Come a little closer. Don't be shy. I could turn the camera, but I just want to get out. Come here, goofball. Everybody wants to see Kitty. So he plops on my shoulder. He drinks your ink water. I know, right? Aww. Give me nudges. Give me headbutts. Kitty cam. Nope, other shoulder. Oh well, you guys don't get Max's shoulder. Are you gonna lick my ear? What are you trying to do? Dude, get comfortable or get off. Max. Max is he's just trying to get comfortable so he can just sit on my shoulder. Because he's shoulder kitty. All right. If the cat hasn't died and he does it often, it's probably okay. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I was walking in here with my coffee, and it wasn't in a tumbler, so it's not like splash proof, just in a mug. And he jumps on my shoulder and like spills my coffee. I'm like, that was a first, at least. Death Wish. What is today's topic about? It's about Death Wish. And how am I going to do this with my left hand? I need to somehow get to my other. So, all right, here. Let me see if I can do this with my left hand. I want to bring something up. Do you have other pets in the house? Two. We've got a pug and a Rottweiler. We've got one other cat and some geckos. Are they geckos? I don't know. Geckos or something. Let me see. Share screen. All right. Now, I don't think you'll be able to see or hear this. No, you won't be able to hear it. Well, I got it muted anyways. But watch this crazy person. This was on my TV earlier. Is it Charles Bronson's birthday? Okay, Psycho has a freaking sword down his gullet and climbs to the top of this, 30-foot stripper pole, and then does that footlock thing and drops to the bottom an inch away from jamming that thing through his bowels. All for your entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. You know what got me thinking? Oh, Max wants out. Max wants out. Max gets out. Beat it. What is it about doing this kind of insane crap? Look at this. I'm gonna play it again. Watch. He's all the way up there. Oh, my stomach drops just watching him do this. What a crazy person. 99% of the time, that trick works. What is that, a battery on the floor? He dropped a battery, it looks like. He didn't skip leg day. Kate, one of these days, what happened to this cat is or what happens to this cat is what happened to this guy. There is indeed a mess of stupid in the world, right? Brad Cobright, free solo climber, falls to his death. It looks a little like Tom Cruise. Brad Cobright, 31 years old, world-renowned American free solo climber, died attempting to descend the side of a cliff face. He fell around 1,000 feet to his death in El Potrero Chico in northern Mexico. His companion, fellow climber Aiden Jacobson, 26, fell a shorter distance and survived with injuries. Cobright was best known for his free soloing or climbing without any safety gear, but at the time of the tour were abseiling, a technique using ropes. Abseiling accidents are believed to be the most common causes of fatalities in the sport. The two men were simul-rappelling, a technique where two climbers ascend opposite strands of an anchored rope, with their bodies acting as counterweights to each other with an 80-meter rope outside the... So anyways, gosh. Jim Reynolds, Brad Cobright, speed climbing El Capitan in 2017. All right, let's mute that. So, man, one of my best friends, Matt Osborne, calling you out, Matt, is a rock climber, or I don't know if he still rock climbs, but yeah, he used to do this. I think he climbed El Capitan. I'm pretty sure he did. But this is just insane. It is, I mean, you know, you're taking your life in your hands, right? And yeah, what is the adrenaline? Is it just being an adrenaline junkie? Right? If you watch that other, this guy, is it Jim Reynolds? I don't remember. There's a movie called Free Solo with a guy who free climbs El Capitan. Look at this crazy stuff. What the heck? What is he? It's like a spider. Fallen is fun. Sudden stops, not so much. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble just playing this whole thing. So I just wanted to share this idea that these people, there are people. It must be a drug like any other, right? Where they're more addicted to the rush or the adrenaline or something in their lives makes them want to challenge death. I know in Matt's case, and I'm not psychoanalyzing Matt, but in Matt's case, his dad died right in front of him when he was, I think, 14 years old. He had just come in from a jog, sat down on the couch, said, "Where's the G-damn remote?" and died. And so I imagine that Matt's challenging. Matt, if you're watching, I'm sorry to be talking about you like, but this is all just, you know, something about that maybe makes Matt want to challenge death. I don't know. I don't want to say psychoanalyze, but this isn't like, it's not like one dude, and I don't know the circumstances of all these other people's lives. But man, I watched that free solo thing, and this guy didn't even like bat an eye when friends died. He was reading, like he read, oh yeah, Charlie died this week, because he's got all these friends also who do this. Guys, could you be quiet? Doing all this death-defying stuff, right? Which is why we can't take our eyes off it. We stare at it and we watch it. We're like, oh my gosh, he's dropping 30 feet with a sword in his mouth. Serena, please send the second 3-pack back. I'm not going to make anybody do it, but if anybody has them, that was obviously a mistake. The printer, I don't know how, but printed out a second copy of a bunch of things because it's the same tracking number. But the post office took it anyways and sent them out instead of returning them to me postage due, which they should have done. Yeah. So anyways, I can't make anybody send them back. And I don't even know who got them. So if you want to keep them, just don't tell me about it. Mike, you have 5 kids. How death-defying is that? No, that's me embracing life. That's me embracing life. I love life. I love kids. Geez, if I could keep having kids all my life, I would. But seems like there's a sort of a time limit on that. Oh geez, Ray Thulu says, heck, Everest is a graveyard until a Chinese did some cleanup. Climbers had to step over bodies during the final approach. Yeah, my friend Matt, his friend died in his arms climbing. You know, they fell. I don't know if they both fell. He fell. I just remember him telling me a friend fell and died in his arms. I don't know what mountain they were climbing or what cliff or what absolute death defying. But yeah, I'm talking about this other guy, and he's like, or I'm watching this other guy on Free Solo, and he's just like not even batting an eye. And his girlfriend is like apoplectic because he doesn't care if he dies. In fact, it's not even that he doesn't care if he dies. He's completely convinced that at some point he's just going to fall off a mountain and die. But he's driven by some need or desire that overwhelms his sense of self-preservation or family or relationship or caring about others who care about him to go and climb these things with no ropes, no nothing, knowing that any single mistake he does will end his life. I make a mistake, I can throw out a piece of art. I can clean it up in Photoshop. I can use whiteout. I can ignore it. He makes a mistake, he plummets to his death. I don't get it. Dragon says there is an endorphin release that happens. Oh, I know. It's gotta be. I mean, dude, seriously, try heroin. I mean, jeez, you have it seems like, for considering how few people actually partake in this free solo rock climbing up the face of these cliffs and how many of them die, statistically, you are probably better off doing heroin. Just saying. You're literally getting a high when you risk your life on those things. Yeah. This also gets into male expendability, but in this time as a biological mechanism. What? My great-grandfather began having kids in 1853 and stopped in 1896. So that's a 33-year span. Yeah, if we had started earlier, I don't know. Here's a weird thing. It's like, I don't have enough time to spend with these kids as it is. I wish I did. Maybe I should change some things in my life. But I feel like if I had more than the kids I had, they would suffer from lack of attention. Unless I space them out to the point, again, if I had started earlier, or if we had started earlier, and Elijah was already out of the house and we were still able to, or the oldest, whatever the oldest was already out of the house and we were able to continue having kids. And then there wouldn't be this deficit of attention to any of the particular children because there are so many in the house at any given time. I don't know. That's all me trying to figure things out in my head, I guess. Risk takers are personality type. They really feel the need to take risks. Yeah, again, my only real personal knowledge of that is my friend whose dad died in front of him when he was 14 years old. I would be very interested to hear the personal stories, like the personal background. What did everyone have some sort of traumatic event that made them want to constantly defy death in order to feel alive or something, you know? I can't take my one friend's story as some sort of a case study into what drives people into the face of death for kicks. Just got onto the stream with Mike saying, try heroin. Don't rock climbers have backup systems to prevent sudden death or try to? Yeah, you can climb with ropes, or you can do a thing called free soloing. Free soloing is climbing without ropes. So, although oddly, it seems like more from this article I was reading, it says that the most common cause of fatalities in rock climbing is not free soloing, but it is climbing with ropes. So I don't know, maybe, and I mean, this is all like, hey, how much risk do you want? Because you're going to die someday falling off a rock anyways. Maybe because you have the ropes, you're willing to take risks that you wouldn't take if you knew you couldn't make it, right? And so because you feel safer, you do that thing that makes you fall. You know. I'm sure there are examples of that in other places in life, right? Like, does wearing a seatbelt make you feel like you could do more risky things in a car, thereby getting you into more accidents? I think I've heard something about that before. Roscoe, why isn't this refreshing? I'll just read it off of here. I'm late for climb examinations, says Jalapeno Wilt. Yes, you are. I had to set up a base camp when I climbed a 10-foot ladder. I hate heights. Roscoe says, my biggest adrenaline rush in recent history has been dropping that big money on FNA. Yeah, I got to get that out to you, man. There are ways to take risks that are beneficial that don't involve death. Right. Fuzzy Creature says that, well, that just means that most climbers use ropes. That's true. It's like, most people who die in car accidents have seatbelts on. It doesn't mean the seatbelts cause them to, but is there possibly a correlation? Like and share, everybody. Like and share if you have not already. 15 likes, 1 war campaigner, 30 watching now. I learned to drive watching Mr. Magoo cartoons. Is that bad? Yes. My great-grandfather had 2 wives. Hey, Mike, that was a 43-year run of kids. Didn't mean to question you. It was sharing. Oh, did I read it wrong? I must have read it wrong. Sorry. Hey, says Serena Sketches. Hey, like and share. Thanks. Yeah, Serena, where you been? I don't think I've seen you in a bit. Listening while driving home from work. Fantastic. Good to hear. 24 minutes in. Gosh, I wanted to. What was the other? Oh, those crazy kids that climb up to the top of buildings to take selfies. Right? Or the ones that like jump from. Oh my gosh, I kind of want to look it up. Oh, these guys. Oh, here's a good one. Daredevils who lost their lives during insane stunts. Oh, that's wonderful. This. Oh my gosh. What drives you to want to climb? Oh, come on. What? Why even? No. No. Mm-mm. Oh my gosh, my stomach is. I'm gonna throw up. Oh my gosh. Oh no! I can't even watch it. Oh my gosh. Jeez. No, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. What is wrong with these people? Ah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's intelligent. All right. That's actually cool. The dude with the that guy. The squirrel suit. But man, those guys get so close to cliffs sometimes. You're like, man, you could get a shave doing that. Okay, here we go. This sounds smart. Playing with stingrays. We know how that ended up for Steve Irwin. Gobble gobble, get eaten by a whale. Is she playing with sharks or something? What's going on? Anyways. Oh man, my stomach kind of turned watching that stuff. I apologize to anybody else that is now as nauseous as I am. Those are ISTP types, risk taker virtuosos. ISTP. What does that stand for? Those squirrel suit guys all die eventually. Many of them are no more. Really? Max is back. Climbing up to the window. Yeah, I don't know what this has to do with the Bible. It's just, I wonder how many of these guys are saved though, right? How many of these guys have the Holy Spirit in them, giving them hope and purpose and drive? Because I don't know, is taking your life in your hands like that? I mean, I know it can give you a platform and you can. What's up, buddy? What are you doing? Why? What's up? Why do you want to be the star of the show today? Huh? Max apparently wants to be seen today of all days. What is it? Huh? Mike's gonna go watch Faces of Death after this. No. Hail Cat says Comics Bear. Max is such a good boy. Climbers usually have day jobs unless sponsored, and even then, I got Jawbreakers today. Just one copy Richard didn't send me to. He's not generous like Mike. Hello, Martyr Media. How you doing? So cute. Max is back. Yeah, Max is he's really loving on me today. Aw, give me head rubs. Oh, he's purring. Faces of Death is actually fake. Is it all though? Man, remember that? It was just like I was back in the day, man. Back in the 80s. Oh, it's probably on YouTube, huh? Cat examinations. Max makes me miss my sister's Siamese who loved me more. Part one is. It's hard. How do you turn this poor, beautiful little kitty away? He just wants all the love. There he goes. Now he's climbing on Isaac's shoulders. Switching shoulders. All right. Let's go to Joshua chapter Chapter 6. Is he biting? Oh no, Max! No. He goes from love bug to murderer in like the blink of an eye. What you doing, buddy? What you doing? What you doing? Catcher! Get your tail out of my face, dude. Sorry, there's been some distractions in the studio today. The distraction's name is Cat. Mecca says, Art of the Hero with Mike S. Miller. Hi. Why have you never read text written by Cappadocian fathers or church fathers? I don't know. That's a good question. Have I not? Have I never read anything by any of the church fathers? I think I have at some point. Don't step on my Darth Maul. Max is, dude, why are you all over the place today? What the heck? I'm going to look it up, though. But I did want to, I mean, we only have, well, we got half an hour. All right. Cappadocian father theology from the Britannica. Views on Trinity, history of the Eastern Orthodox, the Roman Empire. Oh, gosh, Cat, what? Come on. You're just bumbling all over the place today. Sorry. My table's a mess, and then the cat just wanders all over it. Let me see the Darth Maul. Were you not watching last night, Serena? Did you not watch last night as we were doing Star Wars on Drawn and Quartered? How dare you not watch last night? More. He's in mid-twirl of the dual-bladed lightsaber. So, there's the Darth Maul. Where's my cat book? Pull up offside of building. Guy tried to do another building. He did pull up, but then he couldn't grip to pull up, so he falls. Captured all on YouTube. Ooh. Great art last night on D&Q. Yeah, everyone did really well. Serena says, wow, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Nice work. Thank you very much. All right. Oh, you had surgery and wasn't feeling well. All right. Well, I hope the surgery went well. Duel of Fates intensifies. All right. I don't know what I'd probably have to like read into the Cappadocian father thing before I just started blathering on about it. Here is 3 Cappadocian. Five minutes in church history. I could just, it's an audio. I can read it. I could just let someone else read it. Mike, you must walk through stores looking at art and smirk while thinking, I can do that. I did that to a guy one time. There was this dude. I was in San Jose. There was like some art walk or something like that. And he's sitting there doing a portrait. And I'm standing behind him and I turn to my wife. Yeah, I think we were married at the time. And I go, I could do that. And the guy just like deflates, right? And he turns around and he looks at me and he goes, I'll bet you $500 that you can't. And so I reached in my pocket and I had $500 on me. And I'm like, I'll take that bet. And he's like, oh. He did not take the bet. The thing is that Mike could do that. I couldn't do the climbing. No way. What's up, P Money Money? This is why I keep lizards. Cats are so disruptive. Now for something completely different. Really?
And now for something completely different.
All right, let's read. Oh, what is up with this mouse? I think somehow or another, because the mouse keeps sliding off my desk. I think maybe the connection is getting bad. I don't know, but it keeps disconnecting on its own and then reconnecting on its own. Everything's sliding off my desk because of that cat. Sorry. All right, before we get to Joshua, which is actually the Bible study, let's read 5 minutes in church history. Who were the Cappadocian fathers? Cappadocia is in Turkey, and the 3 Cappadocians were early Greek church fathers. 2 of them were brothers, and all 3 of them were friends. The first was Basil of Caesarea. He was born in 330, and he lived to 379. And then we have his brother, Gregory of Nyssa. He was born 2 years after his older brother, Basil. So he was born in 332, and he lived until 395. 63 years old, right? Yeah. And then there's the third Cappadocian, and this is another Gregory of Nazianzus. He was the oldest of the 3. He was born in 329, died in 389. Gosh, this sounds like a report written by some 4th grader. So the 3 Cappadocians are Basil the Great, Gregory of Nyssa, and Gregory of Nazianzus. Basil and Gregory of Nazianzus, and sometimes they just called him Gregory the Theologian, were friends. They knew each other through their studies. They had met numerous times in Caesarea and then spent 6 years together studying in Athens. This is the worst written thing I've ever seen on the internet. It's seriously, it's like some school report, isn't it? It's like, okay, we need all the facts. We need the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why. So write your report. After his studies, Basil thought he would have a career in rhetoric and as a philosopher, but he was challenged and encouraged by a bishop to pursue ministry. So he became a presbyter. Then, when Eusebius, the bishop of Caesarea, died, Basil became the bishop of Caesarea. His brother Gregory later became bishop of Nyssa. The reason we talk about these 3, my goodness, I can't keep reading this. It feels I'm just gonna go to Joshua. I apologize. That is so badly written. And no offense to any middle schoolers out there, but it really it reads like a middle schooler wrote it. In fact, I think Isaac could write a better story than that, a better summary. All right, to Joshua we go. Chapter 6. Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. You get that? They were scared to death. What they were not, however, was repentant. Note that there was one person. It's like Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Lot was the one righteous person in Sodom and was he in Sodom? In Sodom. And had there not been one righteous person, or had that righteous person not been there, it would have been destroyed earlier. Because remember, the 2 angels went to Sodom. They said that they could not do their job until Lot was gone. Right? So their job was to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, a city full of unrepentant, vile degenerates. Which also leads back to, and you guys all remember Abraham had this little recourse with God where he's like, what if there's 50? Sorry, I'm doing this in the Abraham voice from the What if there are 50 righteous men? Would you destroy Sodom then? And God says, no, if there's 50, I'll let them go. Perchance 45 are righteous. No, if it's 45, I'll let him go. One more time. What if it's 30, 25, 20, 20? He does it all the way down until there's 10. And he says, just one more time. Say there are 10. Sorry about the shaking camera. Max is doing his thing again. Say there are 10 righteous in Sodom. Will you destroy it then? And God says, no. If there are 10 righteous people in this entire city, I will not destroy it. So apparently, Lot was the only righteous man, because that was the only person they got out of there. Well, okay, they got his family out too. Lot and his daughters. Khajiit innocent. What? Khajiit? So Lot should have just chilled and he would have saved thousands of people. So one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it. But it's a similar circumstance here. Because if you read earlier, it's outside of Joshua, but if you read in is it Exodus? I think it's Exodus, when the prophecy is that they, and I'm going to get this a little bit wrong, but I'm kind of paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing completely, but essentially they couldn't enter into or judgment would come to the Amorites when the fullness of their, was it sin? I can't remember the exact word. It essentially means the sin of the Amorites is complete, right? So that all of the Amorites, and that's what all these people are, they're all Amorites. When all of the Amorites are just completely steeped in their degeneracy and their sin, then righteous judgment will fall upon them. But there is one person she's an Amoritess, right? That's Rahab. And she's the one righteous person who sees and knows about, or I mean, they all know about the God of the Israelites, and they're terrified of the God of the Israelites. Or just as it says here, Jericho was straightly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. And the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thine hand Jericho and the king thereof and the mighty men of valor. And ye shall compass the city, and all ye men of war, and all go around the city once. Thus thou shalt do 6 days. So they were terrified. They knew about this God of Abraham. They knew about this God of the Israelites. They were. But Rahab, the hua, the harlot, and by the way, yes, in the New Testament, it also uses the word for harlot. So there's no question here. Rahab was a harlot. We used the word hoa. She was a hoa. She might have been like a madam or something. I have no idea. But Abraham and Lot are just troublemakers. But she was a person of faith. She understood. She said, when your God delivers Jericho into your hands, right? Not if God delivers Jericho. When God delivers Jericho into your hands, make me this promise that you'll save me and my household and all my and interesting, right? And she actually ends up in, I can't remember where it is in the New Testament, but she ends up in, I think it's Paul writes this list of the people of the greatest faith, like the hall of fame of faithful people, and Abraham's on it, and Rahab is on it. Rahab, the Amorites, the whore, the Gentile, who oddly ends up in the genealogy of the Messiah. She is listed among one of the most faithful people in all of history. The people God uses, right? The people God uses. He'll use he's using Donald Trump right now. And I love Donald Trump, but I know a lot of you people, a lot of people who hated him because of, he's an adulterer. He's probably an adulterer. I'm sure he's an adulterer. No, he is an adulterer. He's an adulterer. He's whatever bad things you want to say about him. He's a whore, whatever. He may, I don't know his personal faith, but he may end up in some great book of people of great faith at some point. I have no idea, but I know that God is using him because God used Barack Obama, right? God uses who he will and puts into positions of power who he will. Lost contact somehow. Back now. All right. For reference to how much of a walk going around a city is, most cities of that era about a half a mile at its widest point. Yeah, it's not that big because on the seventh day they walked around it 7 times. All right, let's keep going. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns, the shofar. And the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, as I just said, and the priest shall blow the trumpets. I'm pretty sure, as I read this, that they did not blow the trumpets until the 7th day, which means they walked around in silence. How creepy. And it comes to pass that when they make the long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him. Now, keep in mind, flat is probably a euphemism here, because obviously it's not going to fall down completely flat. And obviously, wherever Rahab's house was, that part of the wall must have still been intact because her house was upon the wall and she was safe inside of her wall. So don't take flat to mean like a piece of glass. Flat just means the wall's mostly collapsed. And the people shall ascend up, every man before him. Also, wouldn't have to ascend if it was flat. So again, it's just language for what not to do. What? Wait, what did God use Obama for? Setting up chess pieces. Read what not to do. I didn't say he used him as an example, a good example. Christopher Spirit Flute, good night. Good night. Rahab is in the genealogy of Christ too, says Comic Collection Agency. I just said that, bruh. I just said it. And Joshua the son of Nun called the priests and said unto them, take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord. And he said unto the people, pass on and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of the Lord. And it came to pass when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns passed on before the Lord and blew the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them. And the armed men went before the priests that blew the trumpets, and the rearward came after the ark, and priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. Okay, so, all right. That was wrong then. If I'm reading it right, that's what they did. All right, here, let me read 10. And Joshua had commanded the people, saying, thou shalt not shout or make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth until the day I bid you. Then ye shall shout. So that's all they had for 6 days was trumpets and silence. I mean, trumpets and nothing out of the people. And then on the seventh day, maybe I should just read it instead of commenting before I read. And Joshua had commanded the people, saying, the ark of the Lord had compassed the city, going about it once, and they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord, and 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went on to continually and blew with the trumpets, and the armed men went before them, but the rearward came after the ark of the Lord, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And the second day they compassed the city once more and returned to the camp. So they did 6 days. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, Shout, for the Lord hath given you the city, and the city shall be accursed, even it and all that are therein, to the Lord. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are in her house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And ye, in any wise, keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest ye make yourselves accursed. And when ye take of the accursed thing, make a camp of Israel a curse, and trouble it. But all the silver and gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord. So the people shouted when the priests blew the trumpets, and it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, that the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. Jericho, yes. Can you close the door, please? And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, ox and sheep and ass, with the edge of the sword. But Joshua had said unto 2 men that spied out the country, Go into the harlot's house, and bring out thence the woman, and all that she hath, as ye swear unto her. And the young men that were spies went in, and brought out Rahab and her father, and her mother, and her brethren, and all that she had, and they brought out all her kindred, and left them without the camp of Israel. And they burned the city with fire, and all that was therein, only the silver, the gold, and the vessels of brass and iron they put into the treasury of the house of the Lord. And Joshua saved Rahab the harlot alive, and her father's household, and all that she had, and she dwelleth in Israel even unto this day, because she hid the messengers which Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. And Joshua adjured them that time, saying, Cursed be the man before the Lord that riseth up and buildeth this city Jericho. He shall lay the foundation thereof in his firstborn, and in his youngest son shall he set up the gates of it. And so the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was noised throughout all the country. I want to reiterate here. The judgment of the Amorites, which God used Joshua and the Israelites to relay that judgment by killing every man, woman, and child. The judgment of the Amorites was held off, essentially, I think, for 40 years. It says in Exodus, until the fullness of their, I think it's sin. Until they were essentially until they were so seeped in sin that there was no, it was irredeemable. And also the Amorites and the Girgashites and the Hivites, they were all also breeding with giants, Nephilim. So there was the corruption to the bloodline as well. What did I just do? What is that? Oh, sorry. Jericho is the oldest continuously inhabited settlement, older than Earth, according to young Earth creationists. I know, I don't know what it's like today.
You have a big wall.
Jericho. I fear I'm still online, yes. I fear much of the original Bible's meaning has been lost in translation. I don't think so. Doug is one of their offspring. A harlot named Rahab. Interesting. Why is that interesting? Tell me the interestingness. 14-mile hike. I do that. Just circle, walk around a 6-mile distance, 8-hour long walk. Just circle around a 6-mile distance, 8-hour long walk. What's up, Fizz Pop? God used Obama to bring sodomites into the land since that's what it's on people's hearts. God promised to preserve his word. That is right. All right. That's enough mocking me. Jericho today looks like a town. It's not a walled city, that's for sure.
They want to go west.
10 reasons to visit Jericho. Jericho, 10,000 BC, the oldest city on earth. Well, I don't trust those here, let's see some imagery from Jericho. Wait, what? You just got to avoid the Old Testament too harsh? No way. I love the Old Testament. What are you talking about? The Old Testament is like history, man. History. It's not a issue. It's not a matter of translation. We have essentially the meaning of the ancient languages in our modern languages for all major doctrines and ethical issues.
He says it's too harsh, but that's what it's going to be like in the end times too.
Yeah, if you think the Old Testament is harsh, read Revelation. There's and a lot of the Old Testament is prophesying of the end times. So let's see. I wonder if you can Jericho location. Still around today. I wonder what the actual site is for the actual walled city, though. I wonder if they have that. Jericho. Jericho walled city excavation site. The walls of Jericho.
Pedigree 7. I don't know why they did that.
Unfallen part of the Jericho wall. Hey, maybe that's where Rahab's house was. It's only gonna get harsher. Yeah, that's true. Newcomers always leave because the Old Testament is too hard to understand. I don't believe that. Some do, some don't. I don't know if there's any relevance, but Jesus' name is actually Joshua. Both are Yeshua in Hebrew. That is correct, 7. That is correct. I can't believe I haven't brought that up yet. But yeah, it is relevant. It is relevant. Joshua sends 2 witnesses to Jericho before the ultimate destruction of Jericho and the Amorites. Saves a whore and her family. What happens in the end times? Jesus sends 2 witnesses to Jerusalem before, although those 2 witnesses are killed and then resurrected. Although that's another thing. Estimated a 3-day journey. The witnesses were gone for 3 days. 3.5 days, something like that. And the witnesses in the end times are dead for 3.5 days and then resurrected. I don't know if there's any correlation there. It's just, well, there's no such thing as coincidence either, but it's an interesting, but unfallen part of, well, oh yeah, it says right there, Rahab's house. Oh gosh, I should dig into this and see if that, you guys know my theory about, right? Rahab's house was actually, oh, darn it. We're at an hour. We'll save it for tomorrow. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for popping in, spending your time with me here today. I don't know if I'm doing anything tonight. I'm going to be doing a lot of fulfillment today, though. So hopefully, I don't know if I can get everything done today, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So anyhow, God bless you all. Be good to one another. And just remember,
I find your lack of faith disturbing.